right, Ivan, so I have a Q&A for you. I'm going to have my subscriber question.
Yes.
And I have my own stuff for you. So
Perfect.
Are you ready?
Yeah, always.
All right. Okay, so for my subscriber, the first one, as a mobile detailer, should I be using DI water system? I have to do hot cars in 100 degrees weather. He says it's also hard to apply protection and that I don't have much of a choice to not do the cars in direct sunlight. So do you recommend he goes with the DI water system or, I don't know, rinseless?
Yeah, so a DI water system, yes, you can use that. It's a little more expensive though. If you go with a rinseless wash, first of all, you're not going to be rushing around the car. You can do one panel at a time. So you've cooled it down by doing the rinseless, and you can add your protection like ceramic gloss immediately as you're drying the vehicle. So you don't need to do the whole vehicle. You won't need a hose. You will need something to spray it off depending on how dirty the car is. But if you're in 100-degree temperatures and it's that hot, I'm guessing you're probably somewhere in Arizona or something like that where you don't have a lot of accumulated dirt on the vehicle. So a quick pre-spray, hit it with a sponge, then dry it off.
Makes sense.
Gloss.
I would do that as well and avoid the whole DI water stuff. All right, second question. What is your favorite non-car application for the rinseless?
Interior cleaning for the home.
For the home?
Yeah.
Yeah, like for myself, I like to use it on the glass table.
Yes.
And windows because my kids, they always leave their fingerprints everywhere, right?
Yeah.
All right, so next, he wants to know solvent-based silicone dressing, are those really detrimental to tires? What's your take on this?
Yes and no. There are good solvent-based dressings, there are very bad solvent-based dressings. Just because it's solvent-based doesn't mean it's bad, just because it's water-based doesn't mean it's good. There's a lot of ingredients that go into a tire dressing. It's actually a very complicated formula. And there are ways of making a great solvent-based product. There are ways of making a really bad water-based or a really good water-based. So find one that works for you. If you like it, run with it.
All right.
And don't worry about the tire too much.
He says if they are stripped every 2 weeks and reapplied, he says they use, well, 3D Magic blue tire dressing. I guess when you go with the cheapest blue tire dressing, you might run into some problems, right?
Yeah, the ones that you buy in a 55-gallon drum for $100, probably not a good one.
All right, I second that. Another question from the subscribers. What would be a good product to condition the rubber seals, the one around the doors?
Tire dressing. That's a good one, or an interior cleaner or an interior dressing. That might be a good solution as well. But tire dressing, don't spray it on. Just put on a microfiber towel and do that.
That works well, yeah.
Back in the 80s, General Motors actually used to sell a tube at the stores because T-tops, they had problems with them leaking all the time, and it was a silicone-based grease.
Okay.
It's actually a dielectric grease. So if you go to an auto parts store and you ask for dielectric grease, they will sell you the same stuff that GM used to sell back in the 80s to condition the seals on the T-tops to stop them from leaking.
Okay, wow, interesting. Okay, so am I missing anything? Okay, so he wants to know for your protection, your last step protection.
Right.
Does it work better if you buff your protection with, I guess, an orbital polisher? For example, a ceramic gloss versus buffing a liquid ceramic sealant. So he says he feels like the buffing protection get more slickness. Which one is better?
Right. So with ceramic gloss, you actually can apply it with a polisher. It's not going to give you any more, very little longevity. It's like 6 months or 6.25 months. But you will get a lot more slickness because you have that action of the machine and a little bit of friction. And any pad, as long as you put a liquid on a polishing pad, you are going to get some effect of polishing.
Some swirl removal.
A little bit of removal. So, but you're not putting any more protection on the paint. Especially with ceramic gloss, the less you use, the better it is. So just one spray on the pad, spread it on the panel till you don't see it anymore. Right. Give it a quick wipe, and yes, you will get a little more slickness.
Okay, but it takes more time. So if you're if you're not getting paid for that, I guess you're spending more time.
Yeah,
But you'll get correction, so maybe you can add that as an extra, right?
exactly. And it's actually not quite that long. It's
No?
15, 20 minutes to go around the car.
There's less buffing afterwards?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. All right, so I have a bunch of questions for you that I come up with.
Yeah, exactly.
Ivan did not read them before, so he goes on the fly. So feel free to tell me next question if that's too much.
No.
Okay, so I wanted to know, I have a couple questions that I feel it was never asked before. I never knew, how did you start with Optimum? Do you mind if we talk or speak about Optimum?
Yeah. So with Optimum, I started as a consumer, as a user.
Okay.
And the feedback that I was giving to the company was different than any other detailer. They asked me, when the company was very small, they would send out a sample if you were a return customer. So you bought one thing, then you come back as a customer, you're ordering something, they'd send a sample of something they were working on, going, try this. Most detailers would, at the time, this was early 2000s, would write back an email saying, I liked it or I didn't like it. For me, I've been working in R&D for the last 40 some years.
Okay.
So I wrote an 8-page report on why I liked the product and what it was against its competitors and et cetera, et cetera. So they said, oh, this one's a little different. So that's when I started doing testing for them and eventually.
Okay, so I guess he was impressed and you ended up being hired.
Yes.
And the last years you were a vice president, I believe.
Yes.
Vice president.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ivan knows a thing or two about developing products, marketing, and you've been door to door for so many years, right?
Yes.
So many years. I mean, you're everywhere.
I get accused of being omnipresent.
Okay, so you were also a national trainer for Optimum, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. My second question, tell me a little more, what is it with the pro coatings, not only yours, but in general in the detailing industry, with how far the DIYers have become, why do we still have a market for the pro coatings? And after that, tell me if the customer, how do you attract customer with pro coatings? How do you convince them to go with the pro coating? Obviously, it's going to cost more.
Yeah.
Versus the regular 3 to 5 years that we get.
Right. So first of all, consumer coatings and consumers. So the home detailer, like you said, a lot of times they're doing a better job than the pro. The DIY coatings are professional coatings. It's just we don't have the professional envelope around it saying, oh, if you're not a professional, you can't get it. That's where C6 comes in. So we have C6 ceramics.
Yeah.
C6 ceramics, we have some pro only and we have some consumer available coatings.
You have both?
We have both.
Okay.
The reason for the pro only coating is the pros themselves. So a lot of professional detailers, if I were to say, use the DIY 5-year, their response to that is, no, my customer can buy it online. I don't want to install it.
Oh.
So it's a competition thing. They're afraid, wrongly or rightly, but a lot of detailers are afraid that if their customer sees that this coating is available online for $99 US, that all of a sudden the customer won't want to pay the $1,000 or $1,500 to have it installed. Not realizing that it's their time, it's their labor, it's their work, it's their knowledge that they're selling, it's not the coating.
The quality of application as
Right.
well? So they feel like they would lose credibility, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But that being said, with the C6 professional only coatings, some of them they're very easy to install, but if you leave a high spot, it's very, very difficult to correct.
Okay.
So with the DIY coatings, if you leave a high spot, you just take a bit of gold standard on a microfiber towel and you can wipe it off and you're good. With the C6 professional coatings, you're not doing that.
So in the end, they are still more robust. Okay.
Not necessarily more robust.
No?
So they're a different formulation. So C6, we have Hydro Light, which is available to consumers. That one, Basically, all we've changed between hydro and hydrolyte is the solvent carriers.
Okay.
To make it so that it's a little easier to apply. And yes, if you have a high spot, it'll be easier to get rid of.
Okay.
So it's not a lifetime coating like the C6 Hydro or the C6 Diamond Gloss, but it's we're calling it a 6-year coating. If you maintain it, it's going to last much longer than that.
Okay. So the C6 Pro only, if I would leave a high spot and after I'm done around the car, I come back to it, let's say an hour after.
Oh, an hour after you just put the coating back on. Okay. It's the next day that's the problem. The next day.
Would that come off with a hand polish or you go above that?
The next day you're taking out a machine, you're polishing the whole panel.
The whole panel?
Yeah. Because if you just spot polish, it's going to show up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and you would IPA the rest of the panel.
Yeah.
So that's touch-ups on coating is never good, right?
No, exactly.
For a pro, especially with a pro.
Yeah. Do it right the first time.
Yeah, I agree. Spend more time and make sure you don't leave spots, so that way you don't have to redo panels and get all those and probably lose the credibility with your customer as well.
Yes.
That if it goes out there that you messed up somehow, it's never good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, I want to know, because we're both from Quebec, all right?
Yes.
From Canada, we get some salt and all that nasty winter, the brine, the roads are constantly wet.
Yes.
And I want to know why do the coatings fail faster here, or they fell faster, for example, in Arizona in the super hot sun. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So coatings typically don't fail. What happens to most coatings is they fracture. Okay. And that fracturing is because of hot and cold cycles. Now, in Arizona, we get a lot of fracturing because of the hot and cold. Mm-hmm. So the coatings don't last as long there, or most coatings don't last as long because of the fracturing. Okay. So if you think of the desert floor, which is Arizona, mm-hmm. you get water on the desert floor. It's nice and smooth. It's perfect. Then it starts drying out. The ceramic coating is still there. So all the dirt is still there, but it's all cracked and it's crusty and it doesn't look good. That's what happens to your coating over time.
Okay.
Now, here in Quebec or anywhere in the north, we have all that salt and crap on the roads. Mm-hmm. It's hiding the coating. It's not damaging the coating. It's hiding the coating behind basically what is one big water spot.
Okay.
And when you use water spot remover, you're removing that salt accumulation or the calcium accumulation or mineral accumulation on the surface, and it's back to normal. If you live on the coast where there's salt air,
yeah,
it's the top of the car that gets like the sides that we get here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So if let's say we're in the middle of winter, I'm doing my maintenance wash for the whole winter, how many times for a daily driver, how many times should I go ahead and use the water spot remover to?
Once or twice.
Once or twice, that should be enough?
Right. Okay. When you see that the beading isn't there anymore,
yeah,
a little bit of water spot remover will revive that. And then in the spring, do a good decontamination.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Okay. So for next winter, I will definitely try that.
Yeah.
Because with all those years, I've had many problems with the lower parts of the car and the back. All right. So if I was outside at minus 20 and I go in my garage, is it fracturing?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not. It would be better to leave it outside for the coating.
Not necessarily. Use a coating that doesn't fracture. It makes it a lot better.
Okay. Well, we'll have to try yours.
Yeah.
And give it some time. Okay. Next question. I was curious to know why is DIY in Nebraska? Is it still in Nebraska? Because you've told me that you guys have moved your warehouse.
So our filming studio is in Nebraska.
Okay.
But our warehouse is now in Chicago. And the reason we started in Omaha, Nebraska, the main managing partner, that's where he lives.
Okay.
And that's where our studio is as well. So our film studio that we own is in Nebraska.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, next question. Tell us or give us your favorite package, your favorite detailing package for a non-car guy or a regular Joe what would you offer to the average Joe for his car to give it a good detail?
For the exterior,
Yeah.
a wash, clay, and seal.
Wash, clean, and seal?
Yeah, that's it. It's when we had our shops in Granby, that was the biggest selling package we ever had.
Yeah.
We did many every day because it's something that customers like. It's not involved. We see swirls, we see scratches. Most people don't see that.
Yeah.
They just see, is their paint shiny and slick or is it dirty and grabby?
Yeah.
So if you make it shiny and slick, they're happy.
And it's cost effective.
Yeah.
And the customer can come back every 3 to 6 months.
Exactly.
So that's good. All right. Makes a lot of sense.
My favorite package is a ceramic coating, but
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
All right. Okay, so next question. What do you recommend to detailers, especially in the Northeast, what they should do in the winter to keep the lights up and keep making money because the business is slowing down? So what do you recommend?
Basic maintenance packages like the wash, clay, and seal. That was very popular during the winter.
Yeah.
Ceramic coatings. People still buy new cars in the winter. So you have to advertise for new cars. So you can still do paint correction, you can still do that. And agricultural work.
Oh yeah.
So tractors need coatings too. And during the winter, they're not used as much. You know, here in Quebec, we use tractors in Quebec as snow removal equipment, but that's pretty, I haven't seen it outside of Quebec too much.
Yeah.
They still use pickup trucks and all sorts of things everywhere else. Here we use the big farm tractors. So in the other places, the farm is just sitting in the barn.
Yeah.
And most detailers don't think of farm machinery as something to be detailed. They're extremely expensive. $1 million tractor is not an expensive tractor.
No?
No.
Wow.
So it's very expensive machinery. And the shops that the farmers build for these, any detailer would love it.
Yeah.
A lot of them have heated floors. The walls are white, the ceiling is white, they're well lit, they're super clean inside. You could eat off the floor.
Yeah.
It's not the old, people think the tractor full of dirt and all that. That's not today's farmers.
So that would be a great place to work in the winter.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So another question: is DIY made overseas, or some of the product are made overseas? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, everything is made in the U.S.
Everything
except for the polishers. Those are made in China.
Okay.
The sprayers are made in Korea. The microfibers are made in Korea.
Okay.
But all the liquids, all U.S. made.
So nowadays, this is something I'm not aware of. So nowadays, we are making ceramic coating in the U.S. because in the past, I was told to believe that the coatings were made in Asia.
There's always been coatings made in the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right.
But the least expensive coatings are made in Asia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, guys, so I hope you like it so far. I have a couple more. Well, this one I know the answer, but I'll let you tell the viewers.
Yeah.
How are you and Nick partnership came about?
I've been working on DIY since 2019.
Okay.
And when it came time to launch in 2022, I was supposed to go away. So I was in the background.
Okay.
And the managing partner and the other investors, they said, who do you suggest? I suggested Nick as the face of the company.
Okay.
And they saw a video that both Nick and I did, and they went, wait a minute, no, you're staying. The two of you together work very well, which we do. We're good friends, so at the same time, but we have different talents when it comes to explaining things and different ways of explaining, so the two of us working together gives it a better synergy.
Yeah, you guys are a great duo for sure. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? Your success on YouTube is massive in just a couple of years. I mean, there's no magic trick in the videos. It's only you guys showing the people and telling about the products, telling about the technique and advice in general. And I mean, I'm really, really impressed by the success you guys have. Okay, is that it? Oh, I have the second page.
Okay.
Okay, we'll try to go quick to those.
He has 10 pages, so I don't know how much of
All right. Tell us why maybe your methods are more unconventional than what we're used to be told by other brands, for example.
Right. I do a lot of research and development, not just for DIY, but for other brands as well. Okay. And part of that research and development is trying to make it safer, more efficient, and more fun.
Okay.
And there are things that I do that, like you say, are very different than anyone else. It's because I'm not limiting myself to what is everyone else doing.
Yeah.
When I'm developing a product, I go in with a clean slate, and this is how it best works. And I'll try many, many different ways and figure out which one is, again, the safest, the most fun, the most efficient, and go from there.
That makes sense. We can really appreciate that. And I don't know for everyone, but for me, I don't like people. I don't like when people they just regurgitate stuff they hear. So
yeah, and there's no wrong way of detailing.
No,
there's a lot of really good ways.
Yeah,
it might be a wrong way here and there. If you scratch the car, it's the wrong way. But there's not one. This is the only way.
There's no standard.
No.
You could go in a shop that you've never seen online, and they would have a whole different method and a whole different thinking about doing things.
Yes.
All right, another question. This one I asked you already. I think you guys, do you have in AIO, in all-in-one polish, something like 3D speed, right?
No.
Something under a one-step polish? No, you don't have?
No, we have something more efficient than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we have the gold standard. And then when we're wiping off, we use ceramic gloss. With an all-in-one polish, the abrasive is fighting the protection. Okay, at all times. So, and the abrasive always wins, meaning the protection left behind, it's there, but it's not as long-lasting, it's not as good as it could be. So using the gold standard, we've got great cut, and as we're wiping it off, we use ceramic gloss, and we have great protection.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Could you go with gold standard and reduce your buffing time? I don't know, you would go around the car, let's say an hour maybe, instead of investing 3 to 4. Would you get still good result?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, so in our shops, and I've done a couple of videos on this, an all-in-one polish with the correction, so the washing, the claying, the polishing and all that should be a 90-minute job.
Wow, okay. I would have to try that. Okay, another question. This one, I don't know how I did come up with it. Did you ever do a detail with Mike Phillips?
Yes.
Yes, really?
Yes.
Okay, I've never seen that.
Yeah, great guy.
Is there a video on it?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one would be old, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, recently I've done stuff with Mike as well. So.
All right,
yeah.
Great. Because I feel like you guys are like both old school guys.
Old guys, yeah.
Old superstars, right? Okay, another question about the Rinseless. Can you tell me why every Rinseless on the market, even the new ones that we recently hear about, why everyone has the same dilution, or pretty much 256:1? Why does that come up on every Rinseless?
It's the industry standard, and when people are designing a Rinseless, they adjust their formula to make it 256:1. It's it's now become the industry standard.
It's like having a yellow pad for medium?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So basically if a company comes out with a Rinseless, and there's a few out there that have a dilution ratio of 512:1, or 3 something to 1, or 128:1, it confuses people.
Oh, yeah.
They're used to doing it at 256:1. And the people that have there's a couple companies that have a dilution ratio of 512:1, which is just double of 256. People are still doing 256, then they wonder why it's not working correctly.
So that would mess up the whole product. So
right, the ecosystem of Rinseless wash is settled around 4 milliliters to a liter, or 256:1.
Okay, got it. Next question. Tell me about the coating, curing, not the curing time. I heard the other day that the coatings were humidity cured.
Yes.
Is this for all coatings? Or
90% of coatings are humidity cured. Some will require an IR curing lamp, but that's very, very old technology.
Okay. So what happens if I do a coating in the winter? I wait the suggested curing time to do inside. The car goes outside and it's humid pretty much the whole winter.
Yes.
So is it good or bad?
It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing.
Okay.
Too much humidity doesn't accelerate the curing.
Okay.
It's just up to a certain point. So it's humidity cured, but more humidity doesn't make it cure faster.
Okay, I get it. And I think I've heard you say that the coatings continue to cure for about 30 days. Is that right?
Today's coating's about 7 days.
7 days? Okay.
Yeah.
So is there an ideal season to coat? Let's say we live in the Northeast. Am I better to coat in the fall or maybe in the summer or spring instead of winter?
No. When the vehicle is new, put a coating on it. Don't wait.
But for my used car, I want to reapply.
Oh, you want to reapply coating?
It's probably better in the when the roads are dry, I guess.
No, not necessarily.
No? Okay.
1 hour after the coating is installed, you can go out and play in the snow if you want.
Your coatings?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Other coatings, follow your manufacturer's instructions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Another question for DIY. Did DIY shifted their market to the prosumer? Because I had the impression that you guys were targeting the newcomers early when you guys came out. I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. We had the impression that you guys were targeting a wide audience. Is it now more prosumer? Because there's a lot of hype about you guys now.
Yeah, we're still targeting the do-it-yourselfer. That is our core market.
Okay.
That being said, more than 60% of our sales are going to pro detailers.
Pro detailers?
Yeah,
okay.
Because the products just work. Okay. So all the products are designed for me. This is how I like things to work. Mm-hmm. And I'm a professional detailer. So of course I made them efficient. I made them easy to use, fun to use. But the whole goal of DIY for me was, you're maybe not old enough, but when I was a kid, riding in the street on my bicycle, Saturday morning, the dads were out there washing the cars. Other than you on this street, does anyone wash their car Saturday morning?
No.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to bring back. Detailing should be fun. Detailing should be not a chore. It should be something you want to do. It's like, oh, it's Saturday morning, I want to wash my car.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to bring that back. So that's the whole premise behind DIY. But the product developer that I am, I didn't want to develop cheap products that people don't want to use. And I wanted to develop products that a professional would be happy to use, and apparently professionals are happy to use them.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's good to know. All right, another question. Okay, so I saw in your instruction for the coatings, you recommend the second buff for the removal, the coating removal. You recommend a plush towel.
Yes.
So I was led to believe that you would use like the weave towel.
Pro weave, yeah.
Yeah, I always use 2 weave. Tell me the difference if I would to switch my second buff with a plusher towel. What does it do different than using 2 weave towel or 2 low pile towel?
Not much.
Not much.
So the Pro Weave towel, basically for the first towel, you want the least absorbent towel you can get, because we're not trying to absorb the coating, we're trying to spread it. If there's any high spots, we're trying to spread them out over the surface.
Okay.
The second towel is just for insurance. The second towel, if you're doing it right, you shouldn't even need it. But it's just there for insurance. And again, we're not trying to remove coating. So that very light, you're not putting any pressure on the towel. You're just moving it over the surface. It just feels nice as well.
Yeah, it glides better. Yeah. Okay. So there should not be too much residue to remove for the second buff, right?
No,
there shouldn't be. Okay.
Even the first one.
Even the first one.
Yeah, we're not trying to remove the coating. We're just trying to level any spots that could be there.
Okay.
So your towel should be dry when you start, should be dry when you finish.
Cool. Okay, so last question. I want to know what's the most ideal, what is the most ideal before applying a coating? Should I do a rinseless, traditional soap, or use something like stronger, like Dawn or whatever? What is the ideal situation if I were to coat my own car?
You're going to be polishing the car anyways. So how you wash it makes no difference. And Dawn dish soap does absolutely nothing. It doesn't strip anything. That is a myth that's been going around since Dawn cleaned a duck. But yes, it's great at cleaning oil off ducts.
Yeah.
It doesn't remove anything. It doesn't break down a wax. It doesn't kill anything. What it does is it coats. It leaves a product on the surface that causes water to be or causes the surface to be slightly hydrophilic.
Okay, it's sheeting.
Yeah, so we think that, I washed my car with Dawn. Oh, there's no more beading. That's not because it took away what was beading, it's because it's covering what was beading.
Okay.
It says it in their advertisements. People don't listen to ads, but basically it says in their advertisements with sheeting action.
So it would sheet your dishes.
Exactly.
So it dries.
Right. You
better.
don't want beading on your dishes because your nice, your nice glass will be full of water spots.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's putting a hydrophilic coating on the surface. So by using Dawn, you're actually not doing anything good. You're doing something worse because now you're leaving something on the surface.
Something else. Okay.
Yeah.
And so we are being told that when we get to the polishing step, the car should be the cleanest as possible.
Yes.
What if I use, if I wanted to remove, I don't know, road film or the most dirt maximum, is the clay gonna remove? Is the clay towel would remove traffic film?
No.
If I missed a layer of something in my normal wash?
Oh, if you miss something in your normal wash, yes, the iron remover and the perforated synthetic decontamination towel will definitely take care of that.
Okay.
But before coating, I like to, first of all, spray it down with an all-purpose cleaner. Yeah. That's really going to break down the traffic film. So as before rinsing the vehicle off, I'll hit it with the all-purpose cleaner, let that dwell, rinse that off. Now I've got a very clean surface, less traffic film. Then either wash with soap or rinseless, your choice. It doesn't make a difference at this point.
Okay.
Then the iron remover with the decontamination towel, then the water spot remover to get rid of any minerals.
So when you get to the point for the rinseless, there's pretty much almost nothing left.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So am I overthinking?
Yes. So overthinking is a competitive sport in detailing. And detailers, it's part of who we are. We overthink stuff.
Okay.
And just have fun.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Every step you're doing, you're cleaning. By the time you're at the second or third step, there's nothing left to clean, but keep going. And, detailers, if it can be done in 3 steps, detailers will find a way to do it in 46 steps, right?
Yeah.
It's the way it is. So I'm trying to reduce those steps. I want you to drive your car. I don't want you to be cleaning your car all the time.
So we can relax and go about our day.
Exactly.
All right, Yvan, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Frank.
Excellent answers. All right. So I hope you guys like it, and I'll see you the next one.
Don't forget to subscribe.